So we're selling drugs, and everybody's texting my mom. She's here selling drugs. She's here doing drugs. And we're in the middle of a drug deal, and here comes my mom.
Uh-oh. Okay.
You want to tell that part?
What happened, Mom? Where'd you come bust this drug deal? What was the plan?
Yeah, so I pull up behind them so they can't leave. They're in a vehicle. I pull up behind. They can't leave.
You block them in?
Yep, block them in.
Okay.
They can't go forward, backwards. I just instantly, she's in the passenger seat. This guy's in the driver's seat. I whip open the door, and I'm like this close to his face. She's screaming at him, reverse, reverse. I'm like, you reverse this motherfucker, and I swear to God, dude, like, I will drop you
Don't
right
hit
here.
my car.
Like, don't do
Yeah.
that shit.
Okay. We are back with kind of a new sort of episode. We've never had a mother-daughter duo on. So we have Justice and Steph from Michigan. You guys drove from Michigan.
Yep.
Whereabouts in Michigan?
Lower part.
Lower part? Okay.
Lower part.
Is there a city or a...
Hillsdale, Michigan.
Okay. So it's just a little middle of nowhere town?
Absolutely.
Okay. And you are in recovery?
Yep.
How long have you been in recovery for?
I will be 4 years sober August 7th.
All right. Coming up. Congrats.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'm sure Mom is thrilled about that.
Oh, yeah.
And you no longer drink?
Correct.
How long have you been sober?
Over 4 years.
Okay. So you guys are both wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she got sober
That's wild.
7 months before I did.
Okay. Well, this will be fun. I guess I'll start with Justice. Tell me about your childhood. Tell me about what it was like in your house day to day and kind of what your world looked like as a kid.
So growing up, kind of a normal childhood. Didn't really have a great relationship with my father. He kind of got a new wife. She had kids, so he kind of left his kids for her kids.
How old?
5. We were, like, I was still forced to go there, basically, like, through the courts until I was, like, 13. But my brothers stopped going there earlier, before I did. And about when I was 13, they were like, it's up to you if you want to go. And I was like, yeah, I'm good. It was not a good environment for me. My stepmom didn't really like me, and I just felt, like, out of place there. And, but besides that, normal childhood, at my grandparents a lot, and I mean, my mom drank, but usually on the weekends she was pretty much not there. Or
were there drugs and alcohol around as a kid? Like, is it something you were exposed to regularly? Okay.
Alcohol for sure, but never drugs. I mean, maybe when I was like 13, 12, somebody called CPS saying my mom was smoking weed with us, so we all had to go get tested, and I didn't even know what weed was at that point.
So CPS was called at some point, and the claim was made that you were smoking weed with your daughter.
All 4 of my kids.
Oh, all of your kids, not just your daughter. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you guys go, you went and drug tested?
Yeah, all of us did, and I didn't even know what.
Was it true, or was it just a false claim?
Absolutely not.
I failed, but
yeah.
They didn't, obviously.
They're like talking about weed, and I was like, well, what is that? Like, I didn't know what it was.
You didn't even know what it was at that
11,
point.
12, yeah.
Okay.
No clue what it was.
I was a closet smoker.
Okay, so you failed for marijuana, but the big thing is you weren't smoking with your kids.
Correct.
So they did not take the children.
Exactly.
No.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, so 11, 12. You said you were exposed to alcohol. It's funny because my mother was alcoholic, and I didn't know this until way later in life, but she used to drink a lot, but it was like very well hidden from me as a kid. Mm-hmm. My dad raised me very well. He had no alcoholism background or nothing bad on his side. My mom's side of the tree is just ravaged with like mental health issues, alcoholism, generations and generations of it. So when you said there was booze in the house, at what point do you say to yourself, I wonder what that's like? Or, Let me check this out.
13.
Okay.
Yeah. Definitely at 13 started hanging out with friends, and it was easy to get alcohol because all you gotta do is find an older guy.
Yeah,
and
well, as a female, yeah. That's true.
They
that
get it
does
for you no
help.
problem. So 13 definitely started drinking on the weekends with my friends, and started getting more into it when I was like 15.
What does that make you? 8th, 7th, 6th grade, 7th grade, 7th grade?
We want to take a moment to announce an exciting partnership with K&B Clothing Line, a brand that truly aligns with our visions and dedication to recovery.
I started drinking at 13 years old, searching for belonging. By high school, I was lost in addiction, trading childhood for chaos. Alcohol made me feel accepted until it nearly took everything. I hit rock bottom more times than I can count. When I thought no one could help, I found people who never gave up on me. Sobriety isn't easy, it's a battle. But now I fight with love, with service, with purpose. I'm more than my past. This isn't just a sweatshirt, it's a symbol of survival, of strength, of never giving up. Wear it as a reminder. Every step forward is a victory. This is Mark's story.
Go to www.liveinspiredknb.com and use code GETAGRIP for 10% off your first purchase.
7th.
Yeah, 7.
7th grade. So you started in 7th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's move forward to high school.
So high school, I was very against drugs. Like, even not weed, obviously, because, I started smoking weed when I was...
Weed's not a real drug. It's a plant.
Right, exactly. So I started smoking weed when I was 15.
Okay.
And just, like, going to parties started freshman year, hanging out with friends. It was easy to go to their house. Their parents were partying all the time, so they weren't really paying attention to us and stuff. And at 15, most of the time, girls like to just go hang out with older guys and joyride. And
Yeah, you want to be cool.
Oh,
you
yeah.
want to fit in. Yep. The whole
So that's how
nine.
that started with me, was just drinking. And then I met a guy when I was 15, and his parents let him do whatever he wanted, so I was always over at his house.
Right. What do you think? Do you know?
Oh, yeah. I know it all.
Like immediately, you're like, okay, she's drinking now and partying.
I knew she was smoking weed. She never really was a big drinker. Like maybe she'd go out, here or there with her friends, but she's never really been into drinking. It was always more
The pot.
weed at that point.
What's the dynamic like between the two of you? Like, are you honest with mom?
Oh, yeah.
Because
I wasn't, but now I am.
Okay. Well, so yeah, as a kid, when you're going out and you're doing that, are you like telling mom?
Oh,
there
no.
Is there an open dialogue?
Oh,
is there...
I'm
Okay.
sneaking out, and as soon as she goes to sleep, I'm out the back door.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
I lived right in town, so I could just walk wherever I needed to go.
And you said you were against drugs except for weed.
Yes.
So you were just a drinker and a smoker
Yeah,
for
definitely
for
the
a
weed.
little while.
I was smoking a lot of weed at that time.
And when you got, I'm gonna take a wild guess here. When you got with that boyfriend,
Mm-hmm.
were you introduced to different drugs at that time?
So, pills, yes.
Okay.
So, at 16, I was taking Norcos and...
What year is this, by the way?
10 years ago, so
Yeah.
Okay, 2015,
Yeah.
2014.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 2015, 2014, yeah. And so when I turned 16, my mom doesn't like the boyfriend that I'm with. And so we get into a fight, and she's like, well, you're not going to be with him. So I was like, I'll just move in with my dad, the dad I didn't get along with. So I move into my dad's house at 16. Hate it. Get treated badly. Like, I don't like being there. And it's always like, her kids did whatever they wanted, but I had to stay home. I couldn't have people over. I couldn't go
You
nowhere.
didn't feel it was like fair.
Yeah.
Wasn't on the same playing field
Yes.
as.
That's exactly how I felt. So as soon as I turned 17, I move in with a boyfriend.
Okay.
Still in school, still going to school, but living with a boyfriend in his parents' basement.
Have you seen consequences yet?
No.
Like any sorts of consequences that you can. Nothing?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's how it was for me. It was hard, my junior and senior year, I was like a full-blown alcoholic addict. And I didn't really know it at the time, but I didn't see a single consequence. Like you said, I was still passing my classes.
Yep.
I was playing sports. So there wasn't much you could point at and say he's got like a problem.
Yeah.
After you moved in with the boyfriend, you said you dabbled in the narcos.
Yeah, I was taking whatever pills his parents.
Did you know what they
give them to
were?
him. No. I was just taking whatever pill was handed to me.
Like, did you look it up?
No.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was just taking it and then getting sick because I'm taking these pills and I'm like 90 pounds.
And you would get nauseous.
Very sick,
Yeah.
and then I'd still take them. I was
Right.
like, oh, this is fun.
Right.
Smoking weed. And I was even in like CENA classes in high school.
What is that?
Like certified nursing assistant.
Okay.
So I'm like taking these classes, but also like smoking weed and partying. And so I'm moving with him and I'm living with him and going to school, working. And then I graduate high school, barely, because I'm barely showing up for school because
At that
I'm living on
point,
my own.
yeah.
Nobody's telling me I have to go to
Right.
school. So I am getting ready to graduate, and the day before graduation, they're like, you have one online class you have to take, or you're not graduating. So I go straight to my mom's house, and my stepdad stays up the whole night with me to finish this online class so I can graduate. Ended up passing it with like a D- or something.
But nonetheless.
Nonetheless, I graduated. So
Good.
I was like, okay, this is sweet. After graduation, started partying more because all his friends are partiers. And
Did you have a plan, like, after high school, or was it just, were you going to go to college? Did your
Didn't really
parents
wanna-
want, like, Mom, did you want her to go to college? Is it,
She really was like interested in nursing or the CENA, and I was like, okay, this is a good avenue for her
Mm-hmm. It
to
is.
start off
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
the CENA, and she already was pretty much there. So I was like, okay, this is a good start for her, you
Okay.
know?
yeah, so I like graduated my CENA class. All I had to do was my state boards after graduation.
okay,
So I'm working at a nursing home at this time
okay.
and not making great money because I don't have my state board yet. And partying a lot, and all his friends are dabbling in drugs. First time I've ever seen coke. And I never touched it the first couple times, but I seen it multiple times. And one of my friends that I met from his friend, and she's like, just try it. It's great. Like, it just gives you energy. You're going to feel great. It's going to be good. And I was like, no. And then I was like, you know what? Let me try it. And
Why not?
I tried it, the
And?
coke, and boom, fell in love with it.
You loved it?
Loved it.
Really?
Absolutely
Snorted
loved
it?
Yep. Absolutely loved
Wasn't
it.
a big fan of snorting cocaine. I just felt like it didn't do much. I don't know.
Well,
I
at that
just-
point, it did so much to me because, I mean, I was 90 pounds doing,
You're small.
yeah, doing coke, and it was great. And at that time, me and my boyfriend move into a house because he works for a company and they have a house next door, let us rent it out. And he's doing meth.
Okay. All right. So at this point,
Mm-hmm.
boyfriend's doing meth. You're doing coke. This is not good. Do you know that she's doing cocaine?
Oh,
and-
yes.
Okay.
She
I
would
thought I was hiding it.
she would disappear. She wouldn't come around. I was like, something's up, you know, like she's not just smoking weed now. Because she was out on her own, she could smoke weed, and I wouldn't really say anything. I mean, I can't control her,
Sure.
so I would kind of like just know something different was up. You know, when she wasn't coming around, I was like, no, there's more
So you
going
didn't
on.
you didn't know it was cocaine, but you knew there was more there than what she was letting
I knew
on.
it was cocaine. I was starting to hear rumors.
Okay.
Small town.
Okay.
Everybody knew me and didn't like me.
Were you? How big was your graduating class in high school?
23 people.
Holy.
And I was number
shit.
23. Yeah.
We graduated with 96, and that's
Oh, wow.
tiny.
Yeah, so I went to a bigger school, and then when I moved to my dad's house, he made me switch schools. So I went from 100 something in my class to 20.
Wow. that
Yeah.
is-
And I
wow.
went halfway through my junior year. So new school, nobody likes me. My stepsisters go to the school, so they're like,
Just not
Who's
fun.
this girl?
Not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me about you move in with boyfriend, and you guys are both doing meth and cocaine.
well, at that
and
point, I'm not doing the meth, just the coke.
the boyfriend's doing meth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then shortly after that, my grandmother passes away.
Okay.
And that was very traumatic for me. My grandma was my everything. And she passes away. I get into the coke more because before that I was doing it like on the weekends when I didn't have to work. And My grandma passes away. A couple months later, I find out I'm pregnant.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Holy shit.
stop everything.
Whoa.
Found out I'm pregnant, so I'm like, all right, I'm going to get my life together. I'm going to have this baby. Like, all I want is to be a mother.
Did you get sober for the baby?
Yes.
Good for you.
But a couple months later, I miscarry. And my body wasn't miscarrying for me, so I had to get a D&C, which is like an abortion.
Okay.
So
Yeah, what is that? Were you too far along for like a normal abortion? So what is a D&C?
So it's basically where they go in and they take the baby out because your body's not pushing the baby out.
Okay.
So I go up to the hospital. They schedule me for my surgery because I have to be put under on anesthesia. And right before I go back, my boyfriend's out. He's leaving. Wants to go hang out with his friends. So I'm having an anxiety attack. Just leaves me at the hospital.
Bit of a dirtball
Yeah.
move, but okay.
Yeah, so I'm calling my mom like, I'm not going back. Like, I'm not doing this. I can't do this alone. So I'm freaking out. They're trying to, like, give me medicine to calm me down. My mom shows up, and I'm like, all right, I'm ready to do this because I have to. I can't just leave a dead infant inside of me.
Yeah.
And so super anxious. They give me medicine. I go back, and I come out of surgery. I'm awake for, like, a half hour. No clue that I'm awake. They say that I'm, like, screaming, you killed my baby, and all this other stuff. Like, I'm just, like, freaking out. And my blood pressure kept dropping from, like, coming off the anesthesia. So that was scary for my mom, seeing me, like, in that state.
Yeah, I mean, what are you thinking at this point?
Well, I was worried for her because I knew it was very traumatic. Like, she was not handling this well at all, and she's always wanted to be a mom, you know. I know she was young, but, like, we had her back 100%, you know, like, we were in it.
Yeah.
So I knew this was, and it was only a couple months before that my mom had passed away, and then this had happened, and it was just, like, two traumatic events back to back that had happened that I knew this was not good for her. I knew it was going to send her over.
Yeah, so at that point, I come out, and boyfriend's still not there. He's out drinking with his friends.
Does he ever show up?
Oh, he didn't show up at all. My mom had to take me back to her house after the hospital.
Right.
Yeah. Shows up 2 days later with some flowers and a teddy bear. Like, all right.
You need a little better than flowers and a teddy bear, buddy.
Yeah, like, it was so traumatic for me.
You showed up to your mom's?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to throat punch
I was about
the
to
kid.
say, weren't you ready to just, like, beat his ass?
Never liked him. Still don't.
God.
Still don't.
I would have been I wouldn't have come.
No.
Because, like, obviously it's our first time meeting, but I can only imagine if you didn't like me and I was hitting your daughter.
You're going to know it.
And, like, she just
Oh,
went through this traumatic experience at the hospital. The last place I'm going is to knock on her door.
Amen.
with the teddy bear and some flowers.
Take some
No
balls.
chance in hell. Either he is very ballsy or not very smart.
Not very smart.
I'm going nowhere near you at that point. I'm staying as far away as possible. Because I know I would have known I screwed up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
That's a huge up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so after that, I recover at my mom's house for a couple days.
Your stuff is still at your boyfriend's, right? Okay.
And dummy me, I go right back to his house. We're back together. Like,
just
everything's
like
fine. Because I was ready for the drugs again. And
you did it because, you wanted to get high.
Wanted to get high. Absolutely.
And you have now you have this, like, beautiful excuse. Like, oh, I just went through this terrible thing. And
that was my excuse.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And you could probably ride that for a while, honestly.
Oh, I did for 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see you getting away with it for, like, I mean, it's terrible. I'm sorry that happened to you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But us addicts love to take things like that and turn them into excuses to use.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a really good one.
Mm-hmm.
So, go ahead. Sorry.
So after that, I was doing coke and I was trying to get him off the meth because I was like, I don't know, that's a hard drug. And he couldn't get off of it. He kept trying or saying he was trying. And I was like, well, let me try it. Like, let me see what the
Okay,
big deal
hold on,
is.
hold on. So you're on the coke and you're trying to get him off the meth
Yes. Makes no sense.
with the coke, or just
Yes.
you're just trying to get him off meth in general?
Off meth in general.
Okay. But it's cool if you do coke, though.
Yes, it was totally fine.
Okay. And then you were just like, all right, so maybe if I just try the meth, then.
I'll understand why he can't get off.
Okay.
Made no sense. But in my mind, I was like, okay, let me just try it and see what the big deal is. And I hit a bubble one time and was up for
smoked
2
it?
days. Yep.
Okay.
Up for 2 days and loved it.
Really?
Absolutely loved it.
What'd you do?
I just sat in the bedroom for 2 days straight.
And did what? Did you clean? Did you draw?
Oh, I did it. I was cleaning. I was redoing laundry. I was scrolling on my phone. And I'm like, oh, it's been 2 days.
Scrolling.
Yeah. And after that, I was like, all right.
It's cheaper than cocaine.
Way cheaper and way more
cheaper.
potent.
Okay.
I
So
liked the higher buzz.
Now you and boyfriend are both on
Oh, yeah.
meth.
Yep.
I'm assuming you switched.
Oh, yeah. Coke was
Drop,
nothing to me anymore.
Drop of a dime.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you're both doing meth. Mm-hmm. Mom, are you aware?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
So you're aware of the switch to meth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tell me about how meth went for you.
So it was a very slippery slope. As first time I did it, I was using it every day, all day. And right before I tried the meth, I got an inheritance money from my grandparents, and I went and spent $2,000 on cocaine and threw a
I was
cocaine
gonna say,
party.
do you mind me asking how much you got?
It was like $14,000.
Straight
14,
cash
16.
to you
Yes.
all at once?
And I was 18 when I got the money, 17, 18 when I got $14,000.
And you got it all at one time.
all at once.
Yeah.
And you're strung out.
Strung out.
Holy f, that's
Yeah.
a lot of money to be.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
It
I
was-
was throwing it everywhere, buying cars, buying as much drugs as I can, just throwing parties and letting everybody just have a free for all.
And we knew this was a really bad combination where, like, we already knew about the coke, but then at this point we're like, okay, something more is going on. And then we were like, here we go. Now she just got all this money. Like,
Yeah, that's bad.
yeah.
As soon
Yeah.
as I get the money and she starts hearing all these things, they were trying to like
Do an intervention.
Okay. What did that look
Chasing me.
like?
with cars down the road, and I'm like, floor it, like my whole family's in that truck behind us, like, do not stop. They're gonna try to get me to go somewhere. I don't want to go nowhere.
Had there been any like crazy incidents up to this point prior to the intervention? Like any crazy stories with like the meth, staying up too many days in a row, or like anything?
At that point, not really too many crazy
like
things.
nothing
Maybe just
insane.
like always trying to hide from her and her like showing up where I was at a little bit, like trying to
Okay.
do the intervention because I wasn't like too deep into it at that point. I mean, I was using it every day, so I was deep, but not.
And you're what, 19, 18, 19?
Yeah, at that
Okay.
point.
This is where it all turns
Okay.
very quickly.
So
Yeah.
you decide you want to do an intervention,
Yes.
but you're also drinking at the time.
Yes.
Okay,
And my husband and I are chasing
which is interesting.
at like 120 miles an hour, chasing her and her boyfriend because I'm like,
Did you think you had a problem with alcohol at the time?
yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
So you like knew deep down, but if someone
It went
asked you,
from,
you would
like-
probably deny it.
It went from like drinking here and there, maybe on the weekends, to like after both my parents died, I just was like,
Over with.
it was just off to the
No
races.
reason not to. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So you're chasing her. What's the end goal here? How do you think this is going to end well?
I don't know. I didn't know. This was the first time that I had really tried to intervene with her, and I was like, I'll pull this kid out of the car if I have to,
Right.
like I'll do whatever. I just need to like talk to her. I thought maybe I could talk her into, just coming home, but she was like not having
No.
it.
So how did that end?
Well, they didn't catch me.
Okay. So you guys just ran and got away. And that
Ran
was
and got
that?
away, and then I show up at my friend's house, come living at my friend's house, and to get my stuff because her and my mom are talking. She told my mom that she found drugs in my room and there's coke everywhere and all this other stuff. So she's telling me I gotta leave. So I'm going there to get my stuff, and a cop pulls up. You have a
You're
warrant.
leaving boyfriend?
Yeah, me and my boyfriend moved in with my friend.
You both
Yes,
did. Okay, gotcha.
because we had nowhere else to go.
Gotcha.
And at this point, a cop pulls up and he's like, well, I have a warrant to take you to the hospital for a mental evaluation. I was like, oh. My mom was trying to get me.
Okay. Good play. Good play. Yeah.
But I go to the hospital. They keep me for a couple hours. I'm like, I'm not crazy. I'm just on drugs. They drug test me. I feel for like 5 or 6 different drugs, bunch of pills, coke, you name it. And they let me go. They just let me walk out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a hospital. There's only so much they can do.
Yeah. I was like, I'm just on drugs. I'm not crazy.
Right.
So nothing they can really do. That made her mad.
That they like didn't do more.
I at least wanted them to hold her for,
3 days or
24 hours
something,
or
yeah.
72 hours. And
Detox a little bit.
She was so good at manipulating. She got out of there in like 2 hours. And I was like, it's on now. Like now I'm going to do whatever it takes.
Okay. All right. So you leave the hospital, right back to it.
Oh, yeah, right back to it.
Okay.
Just living wherever, doing whatever.
Couch surfing at this point.
Yeah.
Do you have any like relationships left, meaningful relationships from your previous life before
no.
drugs and alcohol? Jobs?
Well, I have one childhood best friend, and when I was in my addiction, we went our separate ways, but we've reconnected since then, and she will always be my number one. She would show up if I needed cigarettes because I was a fiend for cigarettes or whatever else, and she'd show up and be there for me, but she distanced herself, and I understood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same thing happened with him and I. We were best friends in high school. And then when I started doing heroin, like it was like fun party stuff. And then when I started doing heroin, he was like, yeah, bro.
Not cool
Yep.
anymore.
That's exactly
This isn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
That's
So,
exactly
you know
how
what
it
I mean?
was.
And which is smart. I mean, props to those people who do that because, we would have drugged them straight down with us.
Oh, yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Without question.
Yep.
So, okay, you've tried the intervention, you're doing meth, now you're couch surfing, you're essentially homeless. I mean, I would consider those to be consequences, but I
Yeah.
haven't heard any legal consequences yet.
Nope. At that point, not really. So that boyfriend, I was with him for like 6.5 years, from when I was like 13 until
Okay.
like
yeah, an adult.
19, yeah,
Right.
or whatever it was. And at that point, I'm done with him. Like, I wanted to move on to better and someone who had more drugs for me at that point, honestly. And it was just like we were so toxic for each other, and I was so young, and I just had so much trauma with him. I was just like, like, let's see what else is out there.
So you broke up with him? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep. So I move out. I move in with one of my other friends.
So you move out of your place that isn't yours.
Yes.
Okay. Into another place
Yes.
that is not yours. It's
Yep.
Okay.
Never had my. Well, we had a house for a couple months.
second, yeah.
Yeah, a couple months or something like that. Not very long. And so I move in with my friend, and I'm just hanging out with anybody and anybody that I can to get high. At that point, straight fiend. Like, I'd go hang out with anybody to get high. And I end up meeting this guy, and he's a couple years younger than me, and we hit it off. Like, the moment we met, we were with each other every day.
Okay.
And we were together for probably 3 years, on and off.
What
'cause
drugs at this time are you using
Strictly meth.
regularly?
Strictly meth every day.
Just meth?
Just meth.
No, nothing else?
Nope, because I wanted to be up and getting and going,
Okay.
and I didn't.
Every dollar went to meth?
Every dollar went
Okay.
to meth.
Got
Maybe
it.
a pack of cigarettes.
Well, right. But as far as drugs go...
Yes, all meth.
Okay.
Yeah, and at that point, don't have very much money, so we're buying like $20
Sure.
worth every time. And at that point, I move in with him and his mom, and they're
So
both heavy users.
He lives with mom. Okay.
And his stepdad. And they're all users. So we all start using together. Like, we start shaking bottles.
What is that?
So it's like man-made meth. Like,
For our viewers, walk us through it if you can.
okay, so it's like Sudafed,
Okay.
battery acid.
Yep.
I don't even remember everything because I was so messed up. Like, his mom would put it all together and leave us the bottle and leave the house, and we had to shake the bottle.
Okay. For how long?
So we didn't know what we were doing. First time ever doing it. So it's repeatedly, like, it would start to, like, expand, like it's about to explode. So then you gotta burp it,
Yep.
and then reshake it. And we're doing it for a day and a half, 2 days, and we're just stuck there with it. And we're at this point, we have no clue what we're doing. We're like, his mom's not coming back. So we're like, what are we supposed to do? Do we just like let it explode? Like, what do we do? Well, she ends up showing back up, picking up the bottle and leaving. Didn't give us anything. So now we're pissed off. We just did all this work.
So you didn't even get to see like how you finish it or like how the
Oh, no.
final product comes out. You didn't get to smoke any of it.
Well, they brought it back, and they started to smoke one bowl of it, and I was first hit, and I was like, ain't no way.
Something was wrong.
Ain't no way. Something was wrong. For
Did
one,
it work?
I mean, they were doing it and selling it, but I didn't like the taste of it. It was disgusting, and something just up with it. It wasn't real meth.
Right.
Well, real
It's
meth.
I think it's shake and bake
It's
is
shake
the
and bake,
term.
Yeah. So I didn't want nothing with it. So we're like, we'll sell our part of it. Well, they come back, give us like a little tiny bag. And I'm like, we shook a whole bottle. So we're pissed off. We're like, what the fuck? So she ends up leaving because they would just leave us at the house. And there's no electricity, no running water. So it's just an empty house basically. And at nighttime, no lights. So we're 19 years old, just at this house, and at that point they're in it bad with bikers, and so we have bikers showing up at the house.
I know they can be pretty serious.
Yeah.
Depending, I mean, there's some out there who will talk a big game, but they're
Mm-hmm.
not really about it. But there's some that will really like you
Oh
up.
yeah, they were showing up and riding their bikes all the way around the
How
house.
did that happen? How'd that interaction come
Apparently someone stole a bike and they were looking for a motor,
about? Okay.
and I had no clue about it, and I'm sure somebody that was at the house knew something about it.
Okay.
But so there's bikers showing up, and the next day they come in and they bring in the higher up, and he's like, where's our shit? And I'm sitting there like, I don't know. And they're like, well, you guys are going to get fucked up if you don't find out where our shit's at.
And when you say shit, you mean
A motorcycle,
Okay.
and they were looking for the engine, basically.
okay.
And so I'm scared shitless. Like, 15 bikers inside this house, like, making us sit down on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to get too deep into it just because, but
I mean,
it was very scary.
as deep as you want into it. I mean, it's
It was very scary. They were basically like, most of the time, we come in here and we'll rape your woman right in front of you. Like, we're not f***ing around. And at that point, I'm like, am I going to get raped? Like, I'm scared shitless. Well, they ended up leaving, and apparently the guy who did steal it or whatever was hanging out at the house. That's why they were there. And he stole, like, a hammer from them. Like a gavel. I don't know exactly what it was.
Sure.
But apparently it was buried on the property, so they're there looking for it.
okay.
And can't find it. Well, they end up getting the guy that stole the bike. So then they're not worried about us anymore.
They take him.
He went to prison, so
Okay.
they didn't really get him.
What did he go to prison for?
He stabbed someone in Ohio.
What happened there?
I think he was just all methed out and
Were you close to this guy, or just kind of someone who hung out at the trap type deal?
yeah.
Okay.
not super close with them,
Okay.
but like I knew who he was. And he ended up stabbing someone and killing the guy.
Okay.
And went to prison for that.
Yeah.
So at that point, we're like, we need to get out of this. So we ended up moving to Indiana because his mother got a property out there. So we're like, all right, new area, new space.
Did you feel good about that?
No.
Okay.
She did not want me to go there.
Okay.
So we're living on a piece of property with a shed on it. That's it.
A shed.
A shed.
Okay.
So his mom has a camper. That's where she's staying, and we're living in the shed.
Oh, I was thinking this was like a house.
Oh,
like
no.
a nice
No
big
house on the
house
property.
property. Oh shit. Okay.
No house at all.
So this is a shed and a RV.
Yep.
Okay.
A shed and an RV. That's what you
Okay.
got out there.
Great.
So we're living in the shed. And at this point, we are tired of dime bags. We want more. So at this point, we start stealing shit.
Like what?
So we're stealing campers. We're stealing cars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
We're
you're stealing.
jumping right into
you're
it.
like committing serious felonies.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
All right. So walk me through. Okay. So you wake up one day and you're like, all right, we need to go steal some shit. Okay.
All him.
So, but how? How does it happen? How do you do it? What's your method? What's your?
So the method is wait till night. You go scope out what you want. Wait
Okay.
till nighttime. Then you pop out there at nighttime and you
Did
just.
you see hot wiring these cars? How's he starting the
So-
campers? How's he?
So for the campers, we had a truck, his mom's truck. We just take his mom's truck and go commit all these felonies. But we're going and pulling up, and
Did you tow them?
we're putting it right on the back of the truck, middle of the night, 2 a.m.
Okay.
And we're taking off. As soon as we got this thing hooked, we think cops are on us. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. There's no cars or lights on the road.
Sure.
We're just flying. We got a 20-foot freaking
RV
Camper.
on the
yeah.
back of this little Dodge truck, like
Okay.
small Dodge truck.
Sure.
And we're hauling down the road, and we're going around curves way too fast. The whole camper falls off the back of the truck in the middle of the road. So he's yelling at me, "You need to back this thing up." I don't know how to back up onto a trailer.
Are you driving?
Well, after he got out, he made me get in
Okay.
to the driver's seat, and he's like, "You better."
Is this your
Back
first
up.
camper heist?
First one.
First one ever.
First one ever.
And it's a disaster.
Disaster.
Okay.
So I back it up. He's screaming. Don't know how we got it back on to the.
So it's come
Truck.
unhitched from the thing,
Uh-huh.
and it's just flown into the middle of the road.
Yes.
Okay.
Thankfully, it didn't like fall over or
Right.
anything.
Flip. Yeah.
Yeah. So we get it back up. So we're hauling again.
You got it rehitched.
We got it rehitched.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were out of our minds
yeah, I mean
gone.
that's insane. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So we finally hook it back up. We show up at the property. Got this 20-foot camper on the back.
Yeah.
His mom's pissed. "You're bringing a hot trailer to my property, da 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 da." And we're like, "We need somewhere to live. We're tired of living in the shack."
Okay.
So it's a king size bed, bunk
Oh
beds,
yeah.
living
It's
room.
like getting like a.
Oh yeah.
It's like a hotel suite.
Oh,
kinda.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like getting a hotel suite.
Mm-hmm.
6, and then you get like a place to sleep.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Nice.
Well, that lasted about a week. She said that's got to go. Like, we're on a crappy property with a crappy little camper and a shed, and you got this 20-foot brand new camper.
Okay.
So she said it's got to go. So we're like, okay, well, we'll just go trade it for some dope.
Okay.
So we go and take it. We trade it for like 3 ounces of
Next
meth.
best option.
So we go
Okay.
and trade it for like 3 ounces of meth. And we're like, this is awesome. Like, we got this big amount. First time we've ever had like that big of an amount.
Yeah.
And I just remember, like, we had it all laid out on the table, fell asleep because we're like so exhausted. We've been up forever,
Sure.
stealing shit. And
Yeah.
his mom comes and wakes us up. "What the f is all this shit?" Got a huge pile of meth. And she's like,
In the shed.
in the shed. Because now we're back in the shed.
Yeah.
That's where we had to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
And, well, then she was happy because we were all using together. So now she got some free shit too.
Are you like in the know of these situations? Like, how are you finding out as these things go on? Because if I was her, I'm trying to hide this shit
Oh,
from you as
yeah.
best I can. But it sounds like I can hear you laugh, like you know, like you were in the know the whole time.
Oh, yeah. I definitely knew. Everybody was reporting back to me. Anybody who had contact with her or him, everybody was telling me what was going on, where they were at. I knew they were at her mom's. I didn't know where her mom's was, but I was like, if I could figure that out, I would have pulled up, but
Right.
I didn't know where she lived. So everybody's reporting back to me. I'm like, okay, this is not a good situation at all. I'm really actually fearful for her at this point because now
for
it's
life.
like she's blocked me on every social media. I can't call her phone. Like, I can't contact her whatsoever at this point.
And he was so toxic. Like, I couldn't have a phone. I couldn't
really?
contact, like, nobody.
For fear of you talking to other guys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And he was so, like, high all the time. He swore I was always sleeping with someone, like, while he fell asleep for 5 minutes or
Right.
something like that. Like, it was very bad. We would fist fight every day. Like, there was a time where he was so mad at me, he picked me up over his head and slammed me on the
I mean,
concrete.
you're tiny. I don't.
Yeah.
Like,
And slammed me on the concrete and knocked me out. Like, and then he was, like, crying.
did
'cause he
you
knocked me
ever
out.
turn him in? Call the cops?
Nope.
Just let it go.
Just let it go. One
What-
time.
Well,
Yeah.
what'd you do with the 3 ounces?
Oh, we smoked it.
All of it?
And hot rail it. Yeah.
You didn't try to sell it?
Nope. at that point, we were just heavy users.
Because to me, like, I would be like, all right, this is my nest egg,
Uh-huh.
right? Like, this is where I can sell some, and then I can try to grow from there, and, you know, then I can have free meth, and I can sell.
But-
out of
well, at this
shed.
point, we're like, we can just steal and get more.
Okay.
These two are Bonnie and Clyde. Like, they have...
They think they are, at least.
Yeah, that's what we
Exactly.
thought.
They definitely thought they were. So they already had another thought in their head what they could do after it was gone, you know? Like, they knew they could get their hands on more things.
Okay.
Anything he told me to do, he's like, we're going to do this. I was like, all right.
So what was the next big lick you hit?
The next one was probably there was construction somewhere and down a back road, and they had dump trucks. So we go down there in the middle of the night, keys right in it.
Oh, wow.
So we jump up in there and we turn it on, starts right up. So we start taking off down the road. Headlights aren't working. So it's pitch black, middle of the night. We didn't got no headlights. So we're like shining lights out the windows as we're driving.
That's tough.
Yeah. So we pull into a gas station. Probably not the best idea.
Yeah.
But we pull into a gas station or whatever, and I was like, I bet you the headlights are just like unplugged or something.
Yeah, sure.
Sure enough, they were. So we just plugged them right back in, drove like 2 hours to our dude that would take all of our stolen shit. And
So what the f*** are you going to do with a dump truck?
no clue, but he, as soon as he said
I mean,
he would
I
take
know
it,
dope boys that'll take a lot of stuff, right? Like, I've
Right.
given a lot of weird things to dope boys for drugs, but a dump truck?
a dump truck.
You traded him a dump truck for meth.
Yes.
Just pulling up in the dump truck.
So what did he give you for the
2
dump truck?
ounces.
2 ounces for the dump truck.
Yep.
Okay, great.
Hell
So
of a
you
deal.
Go, yeah, I mean, that's just so
It
bizarre
took
to
us
me.
I
an
know.
hour of our time, and we made 2 ounces.
Okay, and then you head back, and
Yep.
then you just rip through the 2 ounces yourself.
Oh,
again.
yeah. I mean, at that point, we're sharing with everybody. So, like, his mom, his stepdad,
Yeah, that
and his
2
couple
ounces goes
friends.
quicker
Oh,
than
yeah.
you think it would.
Yeah, so at that point, we're just stealing whatever. We're going at stores, stealing stuff from
Like
stores.
petty thefts, return things without receipts.
Yep,
You do that.
all that.
Yep.
Yep.
They used to have those machines in Giant Eagles where you could take gift cards and they'd give you like 50% cash. They took them all out now. Yeah, they were sweet.
I never had none
yeah.
of that.
Yeah, they were sweet.
Yeah. So at this point, we're just doing whatever. And so, okay. So at this point, we're staying at this property and we're stealing and doing this and that. And we're in a town and he's doing gas and goes. That's how we
Doing
get
what?
gas and goes. You just fill up your car and you take off.
Okay.
So-
Don't pay for it. Got it.
So that's what we're doing. And he wanted a new pair of boots. So he's like, let's go to Walmart. I'm going to get a new pair of boots. I was like, all right, well, I'm going to buy a phone with like the little cash I have because we had no phone.
Okay.
So I get the phone and he's trying to steal these boots or whatever. I was like, and then he's mad at me that I bought the phone. So I'm like, all right, I'll go return the phone so we have enough gas. Because he's like, no, we don't have no gas. Da da da. Mad that I had the phone.
Right.
So I'm trying to return the phone and can't find him. So I go out to the truck after I return the phone and he's in handcuffs. He got caught stealing those boots. And they
Oh,
went
wow.
through the truck and found a bag with like a gram in it or something. Like that's all we
Okay.
carried on us. And so he goes to jail.
Because
And
you normally don't go to jail for shoplifting. I mean, you can
Yeah.
if you have warrants and like depending on who the cop is.
Yeah.
But I've been caught a couple of times and I never went to jail for it.
Yeah.
They always just kind of write you up and then they send you the indictment in the mail.
well, that's probably what would have happened if he
But
didn't
they
have the
found the
drugs.
drugs.
Yeah, they found the drugs. And so I'm out there and I'm like freaking out.
So you walk out into this scene.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And he's going to jail and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I was like, can I take the truck? No, the truck ain't got no insurance. You're not taking the truck. So they're impounding the truck. I'm
Yep.
stranded in this town. So no phone, nowhere to go. So I'm walking down to like an AT&T to use their phone.
Sure.
That like are on the little thingies that you can look at.
Figure something out. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like calling his mom and I'm like, he's going to jail. Like, somebody needs to come get me. So she comes and gets me. He's in jail. And we go back to the property. I don't want to be there, so
So they get him with just like a felony possession or
Yeah.
possession of meth.
possession of meth. And then he did get charged for the stealing the boots.
Okay.
Like,
Which
$20
it's a
boots,
misdemeanor.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he's in jail, and I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do now or whatever? So we end up going to get him out, and we go right back to the property, start doing the same stuff. He's not going to court. His mom is mad. You're going to court. And he's like, I'm not going to court. So She gets in the truck and she slams into the front of the building that, like, where we're living.
The shed?
Yes, the shed. She rams into the shed.
Don't call it a building. It's a shed.
Okay, you're right. It was a shed. So she rams into the shed, and now, like, the bottom part of the shed is now caved in. So, like, all the critters are getting in there. Like, the shed's done for.
It's ruined.
So he agrees, fine, I'll go to court now that you rammed the truck into the
Destroyed my
shed.
home.
Yes. So he goes to court, goes right to jail. So he's not getting out this time. No bond.
So he's on a holder, a probation holder.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he's not getting out. So I take off because I'm not going to stay with him and his mom. And
Shed's gone.
Shed's gone.
Yeah.
Like, what am I supposed
What's
to
the
do?
point? Yeah.
So I take off, and he ends up doing a little time there, and I ended up meeting some people down in Indiana, like, from him, like, his friends, and I'm in Michigan at this time. And one of his friends comes down and gets me, because I was like, I need to get high. And he takes me to Indiana with him, and everything's fine, we're getting high or whatever, and then he's like, oh, well, my girl, like, I gotta go with my girl, so he just leaves me stranded in Indiana. So I'm at a trap house in Indiana. Ugh. Nobody likes me. Everybody's like, who's this girl?
Who are you?
Yeah, who are you? And not very great people that I was around. And they were giving me, like, letting me get high a little bit, but not really letting me get high. And they're like, you're just, like, acting too much, and you're too high. I'm like, you let me have one hit. Like, at this point, one hit's not making me tweak.
Sure. Yeah, right.
And they just get all sketched out. And the one guy this house I'm at, he goes to jail. So it's just me and his girlfriend there. And I just remember eating a bowl of cereal and then waking up in a car.
Okay.
And I don't really remember exactly everything that happened that night. It was just really weird, like waking up in a car, like these people are talking. I'm like, what's going on? Oh, you couldn't be there because so-and-so, da-da-da-da. We had to go and pick you up. I'm like, how did I get in this car? No clue. Nobody want to say anything. Super weird. So we go back to the house, and the girlfriend's gone. Never seen her again.
Okay.
Like, weird stuff.
Yeah,
I'm like, how
weird.
did I eat cereal now and wake up in a car?
Right.
So I'm like, I don't know if she drugged me or
Like,
what, but she was always like, we need to take off.
Piecing it together
Yeah.
yet. Yeah.
I'm so
It's
oblivious.
very, very confusing.
Yes. So at that point, they're like, you need to go. And I was like, where do you want me to go? And this older gentleman that I met a couple times, he comes there and he's like, look, you can come to my house, like, you're okay. Like, you shouldn't be around these type of people. Because, like, I was out in the front yard, like, fuck you, motherfucker. You guys think I'm crazy, and I'm not crazy. Like, I'll call the cop. Like, I was being crazy. And so they're, like, coming out to the yard, like, dragging me in the house. And I'm thinking,
you're
like,
making it hot.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing?
Oh, yeah. And it was already, like, super hot.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah. And they're like, you need to go. Like, I was like, all right, it's time for me to go. So this guy's like, you can come stay with me. And I was like, okay. He's like 45, I'm 20. And another trap house. Like, people came and go whenever they wanted there. It was on a lake, like, pretty nice house. And he let me, like, sleep in his bedroom and have his bedroom, and he slept on the couch. So I felt very comfortable there. Okay. Like, I was like, okay, no weird shit's going on here. Like, he seems like a decent guy.
Right. You didn't think he was, like, trying to hit on you or anything like that?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
He was super, like, respectful and, like, nice to me and, like, just wanted to, like, help me out. I thought.
Whatever that means.
Yeah, whatever.
Right.
And there was an older gentleman that hung out there a lot. He was, like, 60, and he was like, oh, my wife is, like, disabled, and I need someone to help me take care of her. And I was like, oh, well, I'm a Cena. Like, at this point, I'm not a Cena anymore. Lost the job, can't hold a job.
But you had been.
Exactly. So I was like, oh, I can do it.
Yeah.
And he was like, seemed all right. A 60-year-old man. I'm not thinking anything of it.
Sure.
And so we're just doing drugs together. And one night, a bunch of us are hanging out, and he's got some drugs. So I was like, all right, let's smoke it. Well, we start smoking it, and I'm not getting high. So we're smoking more, not getting high. And at this point, I'm like starting to like fall asleep. And there was one girl there, and I wouldn't let her smoke with us because if I didn't like somebody, I let them know, and I would not let you. You're not smoking with us. I don't like you.
Yeah.
So 2 of the people that are smoking with us go to bed. They're like, this is bunk. Like, I'm just going to go to sleep. And I don't even remember, like, falling asleep or anything. I just remember one of the guys that I knew him and his wife. He said that the girl that I wouldn't let smoke with us called him and was like, you need to come here, something weird's going on or whatever. And he shows up, wakes me up, and I wake up to this 60-year-old man's head in my lap with a blanket over his head. Like, that's how I woke up. And I'm so out of it, it obviously wasn't meth. No clue what it was, but it knocked me out. And at that point, like, I'm not realizing, like, exactly what's going on. And I just, like, go into the bedroom and the bathroom, and I'm, like, crying. They're like, well, what happened? Like, at that night, the owner of the house, he fell asleep in his bedroom. So that's why I was, like, out on the couch with everybody. I was like, oh, like, I'll just let him sleep in his bedroom, like, because he usually would let me. But I was like, it's fine. Like, I've been around these people for a while. It's fine.
Sure.
And they're like, well, what's going on? I was like, all I remember is smoking, and then next moment I'm waking up, and this man's head is in my lap. Like, I don't know what he was doing.
You like in a chair? Are you in a bed? Where are you
on
at?
On the couch.
On the couch. And he's like sleeping in your lap.
He was not sleeping.
What was he doing?
I'm not exactly sure, but my pants were down.
Okay. Gotcha.
So.
Gotcha.
Not at this point. I have no clue what's going on. I'm just crying, and first thing I'm like, I'm just gonna jump in the shower. I'm crying, and I tell the guys like what he did. So they went out into the living room. The guy took off. So I'm like, all right. I take a shower. I clean myself up. Like, I'm calming down a little bit, and I was like, this is fucked. They're like, no, we'll get this motherfucker. Just wait. And I was like, no, I'm gonna get this motherfucker. So I'm texting the dude, the 60-year-old man, and I was like, you need to come pick me up from here. I can't be here. He's like, oh, no, I can't come there, da-da-da-da. I was like, it's just me here. Will you please come get me? He's like, okay. So the dude comes back to pick me up, and he's like, just sitting in the car, and I come out the door. I'm like, can you come help me get my stuff? And he's like, yeah. So as soon as he walks in the door, I shut the door, and I'm like, you're fucked, motherfucker. I locked it. And both the dudes come out, and we started beating the shit out of him.
Nice.
And they're beating him with a baseball bat and a shotgun barrel.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it was bad. We were beating him for hours on end. Taking breaks to smoke his meth that wasn't even meth at that point makes no sense. So, like, we took all his shit. We're beating him up. And I have, like, a timing gun for a car. It's, like, shaped like a gun. And I'm just whacking him with it in the head.
Okay.
And at this point, he's really beat up.
Hurt, yeah.
There's a bunch of people in the house. And they're trying to, like, drag this guy to the basement. And at that point, I'm like, no. Like, we can't put him in the basement. Like, there's too many people here. Like, he's got to go. So, our smart idea, let's go put him in the trunk of his car and take him somewhere. So, we put him in the trunk of his own car. And one of the guys gets in the car and takes off with him. So, we go back in the house. I'm just relaxing, breathing, trying to realize everything that happened. And apparently the dude jumped out of the trunk a couple miles down the road, and all of a sudden we're getting surrounded by cops and undercover cops.
The house.
Oh yeah, the house is surrounded at this point, and there's a bunch of people inside, so everybody's freaking out. So the drugs I took and I put inside of me because I didn't want nobody to get in trouble for it, like the guy that owned the house, because he was already in trouble before.
Okay.
And we also, like, I also took pictures of the guy beat up on, like, a Polaroid camera. So I had printed off of this guy beat up. So I'm, like, trying to hide these pictures, and I'm hiding the drugs. And they come in, pull everybody out, and made us lay flat on the ground. Because obviously this guy's severely hurt.
Yep.
And one girl was like, I have to go to the bathroom as soon as they pulled us out. So one cop takes her inside, lets her use the bathroom, so to say. And they come back outside, and the cop picks me up instantly and takes me to the cop car. He's like, you need to tell me what happened here tonight. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, she already told me everything that happened. Like, she's on probation. She's going to snitch. So she already told them everything that happened, like, word for word, like, who did what. And I'm still denying it. They're like, we need to know, like, what happened to you, and we will make sure you get back home to Michigan. Because they look me up. They see I'm not from here.
Sure.
And I'm like, straight denying it because I didn't want nobody in trouble.
Yep.
So they load all of us up, take us down to the police station, and they're interrogating all of us. And at this point, I have the drugs inside of me still.
Is this guy in the hospital, I assume, by now?
Yep,
Okay.
he's in the hospital.
Alive?
Yes.
Okay.
Alive in the hospital. And I don't know if the bag was open inside of me, so I'm like nodding out in the middle of interrogation. They're like, what's going on? Like, and the girl that was on probation was like, oh, she has drugs on her. And they come in and they're like, where's the drugs? Like, we know you haven't. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have nothing. And I'm been repeatedly like asking to go to the
Well, I'm sure
bathroom.
they've searched you too.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
So like, yeah, like what do you mean?
I have no clue what you're talking about. I don't
Yeah.
have nothing. So I'm keep asking to go to the bathroom. No, come try and flush it. Well, they took me to the hospital. And they pulled it out themselves.
Yep.
And so all these charges, like they're trying to figure out what's going on. Well, now you got a possession charge.
Yeah, what do you end up facing after you get caught with that?
So I had assault and battery with a deadly weapon, assault and battery with great bodily harm, less than
These
murder,
are all felonies.
and possession. Yeah, so
Okay.
first time ever going to jail.
Okay.
3 felonies, big felonies.
Yeah, big boys.
Yeah. So in the interrogation room, I'm like, you know what? All I can think of is I need to tell the story of like what happened to me, but put all the blame on me. Because I didn't want nobody else to get in trouble because I felt like they were in that position because of me. So I'm telling the cops I beat him up. I was the only one in the house, and they don't believe me. Like,
She's like 85 pounds.
Right.
85
yeah.
pounds, and
no,
this is a
no
6-year-old.
chance.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
chance at all.
No chance.
So they don't believe me. Then they take me to get like a rape kit done because I told them what happened. And they're like, well, just so you know, like you took a shower, you said, so there's not really going to be any evidence. And it wasn't, from my knowledge, no penetration, just like mouth and fingers maybe.
Okay.
So at that point, like I'm just traumatized. Like
I can imagine.
I get taken to the hospital. They're stripping me and pulling it out of me and then take me to Fort Wayne to go get this rape kit done. And at this point, I don't know if I was ODing because it was all a blur. Like I barely remember going to get this rape kit done, like any of it. I just remember like the deputy that was driving me. It was a female officer, and she just kept saying, "Please stay awake with me. Like keep your eyes open." And I'm
Yep.
like nodding out. So I just remember like fully like realizing what's going on like 3 days after being in jail.
Do you call mom in like when events like this take place? Like, yo, mom, I'm
I hadn't talked to her in months.
Really?
Like I had said, she had blocked me on everything. We had no contact. And then I got a phone call from Steuben County Jail, and I was like, I already knew that she was in Indiana just from everything I was being told. I was like, oh my God, what now? And then when she told me her charges, I was like, whoa.
So
Like, this is...
they book you in after the hospital.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep, they booked me in, and my bond's $50,000, and I'm out of state, so no 10%.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so-
Interesting. So it's 50 or nothing.
Mm-hmm. So
Jesus.
I'm calling my mom. I'm like, come get me, like, please come get me.
You got 50 grand? I mean, that's
Well, she came and got me
really.
Yeah,
You bonded her out.
I did.
out of $50,000.
I thought at that point, I made her go to rehab. I was like, the only way I'm coming to get you is if you go to rehab. Like, I'm not playing with this. Like, you have to go to rehab. She's
Wow.
like, I'll go to rehab. I'll do whatever. And I thought, you know, as serious as this was, like, this has to be an eye opener. You know, I was like, she's definitely learned from this.
Gotta be a bottom of some
Yeah,
sort
I was like,
here.
oh, okay, like this is crazy stuff. So I'm like, you got to go to rehab. So she agreed to it.
Wow.
So
So how long did you sit?
3 days, 4 days.
How was that?
Well, I was like sleeping the whole
Like,
time.
How was I mean, you said first time being in county jail?
Mm-hmm.
What was the experience like? I mean, you said you slept,
Yeah, I
but
barely remember being in there at all. Like, I don't know what the drugs were that I did, but I barely,
it wasn't meth.
no,
obviously.
absolutely not. I barely remember even being in jail. I just remember calling my mom, and then she was right there to get me.
the day we picked her up, she was like maybe 85 pounds. She just,
Skin and bones.
like, I hadn't seen her in months, and I was like, I honestly couldn't believe it. Like, you know, I mean, she's a pretty girl. Her hair is just ratted. She's so skinny. Like, this is not my girl, you know, like,
Yeah.
okay, hopefully this is a turning point.
So I get out, and I go to rehab the next day. So
Very next day. Smart.
Yep, very next day. So I go to a hospital, and I'm like, I need help. So they find a rehab for me. They send me to the rehab. Everything's going great.
Inpatient.
Inpatient.
How many days did you do?
I only did 30 days. So
Okay.
they wanted me to do more, but I played the system because I wanted out. So I was like, oh, no, I'm good. Like, I'm ready to go. My mom comes and gets me from rehab.
So you did 30 inpatient.
Yep.
And then you come get her. Anything afterwards?
So I go home. I'm there for about a week, and I take off to go get high again.
Damn.
So the same
Yeesh.
boyfriend that was in jail.
Hold on. How did you feel about that?
I'm like, I just
'Cause
signed a
you
$50,000
had
bond
to have
on
been
her.
livid.
I was like, I will find her myself. Like, at this point, I'm more hurt. You know, I'm just like,
Yeah.
I can't believe, like, she didn't learn from this. You know what I
Unreal,
mean?
yeah.
Like, like, these are big charges, you know, and I just signed this $50,000 bond and you take off? Like, hell no.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the boyfriend got out of jail, and he shows up at my mom's house. He comes in the back door while I'm sleeping, and he's like, you're coming with me. Like, let's go. Like, I'm out of jail now. Like, we can be together. And
He shows up in a stolen car.
in a stolen car. And
Nice.
I go with him.
You knew it was stolen?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it was spray painted.
Okay.
So I go with him, and we're doing the same shit we were. And a couple months later, we still got the stolen car.
Just stealing and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Same stuff?
Oh, yeah, same stuff.
Catch any more charges?
Well,
About to.
yeah. Well, we were staying at his aunt's house, and she was very, like, mentally unstable. And we knew chop shop, so we were going to take the car and trade it for a legal car, not hot car. And she's mad. She wants the car. She's like, no, you're going to give the car to me. And we're like, no, we're not. So we go to sleep. And we wake up with cops standing over us. She turned us in for the stolen car.
Wow.
Yep. So we go to jail.
Grand theft?
Well,
Or what did you get charged with?
I got charged with receiving and concealing stolen property of a motor vehicle because we were inside the vehicle. It was on the property.
Is it a felony as well?
It was a misdemeanor.
Okay.
So he had a felony for, like, I can't remember, joyriding, something like that,
Bunch of
because he had the
stuff,
keys
yeah.
to the car.
Right.
And so we're just in jail, and I know all the people in jail. It's my hometown jail. Like, I'm just
Okay.
having a great time while I'm in there.
So, like, you really, jail didn't really, it was just,
At that point, no. It was just like
whatever.
3 meals a day.
You know how
my
it
man's in
works.
here. I know he's not doing nothing.
Right.
She'd be calling me from jail. She'd be like, Mom, guess who's here? So-and-so told you to, or so-and-so said hi. I'm like, you tell her to get her life together. Like, it was nothing for
It's
her.
crazy how that becomes so normal for
Mm-hmm.
people like us. Like, we go so many times or we do so much crazy shit that jail's just, like, normal.
Yeah.
Oh, well, here I am again. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'll get out eventually. Can't keep me here forever.
And my bond was super cheap, but I had no one to bond me out at this point.
I bet.
So my court days pushed out like 60 days. So I'm just sitting there and getting in fights in jail.
Did you get picked on?
Um,
I only say that because I'm skinny too. I'm tall, but I'm still thin.
it was more like I would have trustees like sneak me bags of bagels, jars of peanut butter. Like I was getting hooked up in there. And girls didn't like that.
Okay.
So there was a girl, and she was like, couldn't open up her ketchup packet. And I'm like, just use your teeth. Like, I'm getting annoyed because she's just being
Annoying.
at this point. She's like, my teeth don't touch together like that. And she's like chomping her teeth at me. And at this point, I'm like, what the hell? And I was in there with someone that I used to buy drugs from, and she gets up and she's like pushing this girl into the pod because you had like a little area where everybody could sit.
Like a day room.
Yeah, but there was no table or anything. It was just
Oh, okay.
empty. And
Oh,
then we
really?
had like pods.
No table?
No table.
Damn.
Yeah. So, and probably the size of this room is the living room area.
Jesus.
Yeah. So very small.
Yeah.
So she's like pushing her in there, but I already know like she's in way more trouble than I am. And like, so I pull her out of the room and I go in the room with this girl. And I just like pick up the lunch tray and I just whacked her across the face with it.
And
And then she ends up crying. The cops come in, rip us apart, and she's like, I'm sorry that I'm not a whore and don't get stuff handed to me in here from trustees. And I was like, step up your game. What do you want me to say?
Yeah, she's just
Like,
jealous. Why are you getting mad at me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She wanted a bagel.
Yeah.
She-
You get
Yeah.
hungry in there.
Right.
Oh, I was
Yeah.
starving in there.
Yeah.
I was 80 pounds,
Yeah.
so, I got to eat.
You get hungry, yeah.
So the cops come in there, and they're like, the camera points right into that room, right? And we're like, all right. No charges ever happened or anything.
Sure.
Like, I didn't
No.
really care there. So we finally go to our court date, and we dye my hair with Kool-Aid.
Yeah, Mom's shaking her head. Is that why?
Yeah, she comes in there, and obviously she has blonde hair. She comes in there with pink hair. She's completely shackled. It's the best day of her life. She's in the front of the courtroom before the judge is in there. She's just joking, and her and this boy were there together because they were in the same jail. So they're in the front row just tee-hee and ha-ha and like living it up. And I was like, you better turn your ass
Yeah.
around.
This is not a joke.
Like, what are you doing?
So they want me to go to rehab. They're trying to sentence me to like a 6-month program.
Hold on. I want to go back to the dyeing of the hair with Kool-Aid, please. How in the hell do you do that?
Okay, so you just a little bit of water and a bunch of Kool-Aid, and you just put it. I just put it in the ends of my hair, and
Just some like pink highlights?
just the tips. I didn't want to do my whole head.
How'd it look?
I mean,
Did it look good?
it looked pretty good.
Really?
It was
did.
cute.
It was
and
cute.
she had cute braids and stuff. It was just her mentality. I wanted to slap the shit out of her.
Yeah. So I go in got pink tips and stuff. The first thing we did was we did half of it pink and half of it blue because I'm like, Harley Quinn, so cute. And the blue didn't stay, so then we had to redo it and did just all pink. And the CEOs come in, they're like, "What are you doing? Like, that's not allowed because I have pink on my shirt." And they're like, "Well, now we got to take your shirt. Like, you need to wash that out of your hair." I'm like, "It ain't coming out." Like, that stuff stayed in my hair for so long. I would not
Really?
recommend putting Kool-Aid in your hair.
Really?
Yeah, at that point, I'm just having the time of my life. And they want me to go to rehab, and I'm like, I'm not going to rehab. I'm doing my time because I know my misdemeanor, you can only hold me 60 days.
Right.
And today is 60 days. It was like 63 days. So I'm like, I'm not going to rehab. I want to do my time.
Okay, so time served on the misdemeanor,
Yep.
but you still got felonies.
So those were still pending.
Dismissed for future indictment?
My court date was like scheduled way out.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm not on the run technically yet from that
Okay.
case.
All right. Gotcha.
And so I just get let out.
Okay.
So
Time served.
time served.
You're out.
I'm out.
Okay.
And my mom was so mad because I didn't go to her house when I got out. I went straight to my boyfriend's family's house. He had to stay in jail. He obviously
Yeah.
didn't get
He
60
wasn't going
days. Yeah, he
anywhere,
wasn't
right.
getting out. So I get out and I go right back to it.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Still wasn't enough.
Mm-hmm. But he's doing he did like a year. So I got out in 60 days. He had to do just over a year.
Did he do a year in the county, or
Yeah.
he would go to prison?
He went to the county.
Oh,
just
wow.
county. So, yeah. Just a year. For stolen vehicle.
Well, but that's a long time in a county jail.
I mean, yeah, it is.
I'd rather go to a prison.
Literally, though. So, at this point, I need to find new people to hang out with. New people to do drugs with. So, I stay in my hometown, and I meet people that are using drugs, and I just start hanging out with all of them, and I meet another guy. And, he was kind of, like, selling a little bit, but not, like, a lot, like, no large amounts or whatever. And, just start right back to using every day
But
and
he
selling
had-
a little bit.
He had dope.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Just a little bit.
Which
like,
was the key.
like a ball or something.
Right.
Not very much. But, so we're just selling a little bit, doing a little bit. We got a little apartment his sister moved out of, but she kept the lease because it was a free apartment because she had kids.
Okay.
So we move in there, and worst apartment complex in our town. Like, very drug active place.
Yeah.
So we're selling drugs, and everybody's texting my mom. She's here selling drugs. She's here doing drugs. And we're in the middle of a drug deal, and here comes my mom.
Uh-oh. Okay.
You want to tell that part?
What happened, Mom? Where'd you come bust this drug deal?
Oh, yeah.
What was the plan?
Yeah, so I pull up behind them so they can't leave. They're in a vehicle. I pull up behind. They can't leave.
You block them in?
Yep, block them in. They
Okay.
can't go forward, backwards. I just instantly, she's in the passenger seat. This guy's in the driver's seat. I whip open the door, and I'm like this close to his face. She's screaming at him, reverse, reverse. I'm like, you reverse this motherfucker, and I swear to God, dude, like, I will drop you
Don't
right
hit my
here.
car,
Like,
yeah.
don't do
Yeah.
that shit. They're having this whole argument. This kid comes up on a bike. He's knocking on the door for the drug deal. I'm like, do you not see what's going on here? Like, you gotta go. And she's like screaming at this kid that's on the bike trying to do the drug deal. And I'm like, get the hell out of here. The car is just like filled with trash. I'm like, we're living like this? Like, what's happening here? They're gonna call the cops. Like, it was just a big ass scene. And I was like, I better leave. Like,
I was gonna say, were you sober yet?
no,
No.
no.
So you.
And I wasn't drinking that day.
Okay.
At all.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
like, I didn't care.
Right.
You know. Like,
Yeah. No, I get that.
she's on to the next thing, and I'm ready to just intervene
It's your daughter.
again.
It's your daughter. Yeah. Absolutely.
So
It's the middle of the daytime at an apartment complex when all this is going on. So people are like, they got their kids outside, like
Sure.
all this is going on. So she ends up leaving because I like throw it in reverse and I'm like, you need to back it up. And he's scared. Like he's just sitting there, not saying a word, not doing nothing. I'm like, can you go?
You were buying the drugs, or you were
We
selling?
were selling. It was
I'd-
like a dime bag or something to
Still,
someone. Like
whoever was buying, I would have been so pissed.
Yeah,
I was
he
that
was like-
person.
knocking on the window. I'm like, get out of here.
dumbass.
He was still trying to buy it with my mom screaming at us in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe sit tight for a second.
Yeah, I was like, give us one moment.
Yeah.
So at that point, we're just doing a little bit of stuff, like not too crazy. And then the everybody starts getting all this money for
COVID.
COVID. So we both get like $4,000 instant. And we're like, oh, let's just buy a car together because we had a crappy car. And so we buy like this 2016 blue Mustang. And at this point, we're buying way more drugs than we were having before. So
Of
we're
course.
like couple ounces, and we're in the apartment all the time, and he's getting so like paranoid. Like he's like boarding the door shut, like you're not leaving, putting guns to his head, like if you leave I'm gonna kill myself. Like
Jesus.
it was just getting way out of control. And I knew like some other people in the apartment buildings, so I'm like texting one of the dudes, and I was like, you need to come kick down this door, like I'm ready to get out of here. And he didn't come kick down the door.
I mean, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, I would be terrified
Oh yeah.
if I
Yeah.
was you.
It was very traumatizing, and I was like, is he gonna like shoot himself, or is he gonna shoot me? Like it was a
Right.
shotgun.
Yeah, you
even.
don't know what's going to happen.
No clue what's gonna happen. So I ended up waiting until he like fell asleep, and I left, and I went and hung out with the dude that I told to kick down the door.
Right.
And so I start hitting it off with that guy, and he's a heavy user also. So I left the car that we paid half in on. So eventually I want to go get my clothes, and I want my car. Like, I have money, I will pay you your half that you paid, or you pay me my half and you keep the car.
Sure.
Nope. And it's in both of our names. So at this point, I'm getting mad because I have no vehicle. And he's like, well, you can have the crappy car. And I was like, no. Like, I put money in for that nice car.
Sure.
Like, I want the nice car. And he's not having it. He don't want me to have it. And he gave all my clothes away to, like, the next girl that he had over. So I had nothing. And so I'm trying to go get the car back. At one point, I tried taking a tow truck to go tow it. He comes out. And the tow truck driver's like, it's in both of your guys' names. This is civil. I'm not towing it nowhere. Like, whoever has it in their possession, that's what it is.
Yep.
So that pisses me off. So the next day, I go back in the middle of the day, and I bring two guys with me. I'm like, you're going to break the window because the keys are in it. Like, I can see the keys. And he comes out running. And he's like, you're not taking my car. So me and him are fist fighting over these keys in the middle of the daytime at an apartment complex. And all of a sudden, I just hear a gunshot. And, like, I'm, like, checking myself. I'm like, did I just get shot? And two of the guys that were with me, they shot off a gun, like, behind us trying to scare him.
Sure.
And he pisses his pants.
Literally.
Literally. So we already know, like, gunshot went off. It's middle of the daytime at an apartment complex in this little town. Like, the cops are going to be coming. So
Yep.
we all take off.
Yep.
And he ended up calling the cops saying that I tried to shoot him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Attempted murder.
Yeah.
Wow.
So cops are looking for me. I jumped out of the vehicle with the two guys that I was with, because I was like, you just put me in, like, a bad situation. Like, I just brought you with me for, like, backup. Like, why was I fist fighting this guy for the keys if you guys were there with me? I mean, I know it was, like, my situation or whatever, but I was like, why didn't, like, little old me fighting this kid?
The police are now looking for you for an attempted murder charge, potentially.
Coming to my house.
Mm-hmm.
And
Looking
you're
for her.
and you're headed over there.
No, I jump in a different guy's truck, and I'm like, you need to get me out of this town. So he starts taking off.
Wait, what guy?
Just some random guy that I knew. I called him up. I was like, you need to come get me right
okay,
now.
Okay.
So I get in his vehicle, and he starts taking off towards Ohio. I was like, okay, whatever. Well, now it's like 2 a.m. He just keeps driving. He swears cops are after us. I'm like, bro, we're in Ohio. Like, nobody's here.
Right.
Then he goes into Indiana. And we're in this 2 o'clock in the morning, maybe 3. And this town that has no gas station open. There's nothing open. There's only one gas station in this town. And he kicks me out of the car. He's like, no, I can't have you in my car. Like, the cops are after us. And I was like, we're in the middle of nowhere. Kicks me out of the car. And my phone's at 3%. The only person I can call is my mom. So I call my mom, and she's like, the cops are looking for you. Like, if I come and get you, you're going straight to the police station. I was like, at this point, like, you're my only option. Like, nobody's going to come get me 3 hours away.
You're screwed.
Yeah. And sitting at this gas station outside, phone's at 3%, like, freaking out because I have no clue where I'm even at. I'm in, like, Hamilton, Indiana or something like that. No clue where that was. So my mom comes and gets me. She takes me right to the police station. And I'm like, I didn't have no gun. Like, they talked to other people, and they found, like, they knew it wasn't me or whatever. So they're like, we want to see your phone. Like, and I was like, you're not having my phone. Like, I'm being very rude to the cops because I was like, fuck you guys.
Right.
Like, you ain't getting nothing on me. So.
And I know all of these cops, like,
Very well.
very, very
Yeah.
well. Like,
Yeah.
some of them are actually, like, people that are acquaintances of mine, you know?
Well, it's such a small town.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I'm like, no, like, quit being disrespectful, but she was on one.
Yeah, so I didn't care. They ended up taking my phone, obviously. They're like, just took it right out of my hands. And I'm like, well, when am I going to get my phone back? Because I'm obviously not under arrest because I didn't have no gun. I didn't shoot off a gun.
Right.
I was like, I was just fist fighting him over keys to a car that's in both of our names. They're like, all right, well, we're taking your phone. Like, we'll get a hold of you when you can get it back or whatever. So they let me go. So I think I went back to your house for a couple days. Took off again.
Okay.
So at this time, I'm getting regular checks, so I'm getting money. So I'm like, go back to hang out with this guy that.
Drugs are not an issue.
Oh yeah, drugs are not an issue. So I'm hanging out with this guy the one that I told to kick down the door, and like, his mom was very like, let anybody over. Like, she was very helping out everybody, even though she knew everybody was doing drugs. So we're staying at his mom's house, and I have 2 ounces on me at all times. And at this point, I am on the run for like those serious charges because I didn't go to my court date and all this.
Okay. How old are you?
21. 20 or 21.
Yeah, 20 or 21.
Okay.
Yeah. So at this point, like, I'm just selling drugs and like running from the cops. And I was so like just wanted friends that I wasn't really selling too much unless I like really needed the money. I was just like doing it with everybody.
Right.
And because it was free money to me, I was like, whatever. But I would always just buy a car every time I'd get arrested. I'd just let it go in an impound, buy a new one. Like, it was like whatever, because I already knew if I got that one out, it's hot. Like,
Right.
They already know,
Yeah.
so I'd have to get a new one. So at this point, I'm like hiding from the cops constantly, and I'm freshly out of drugs. And my boyfriend at the time's like, you need to go get some, like, and I'm trying to go to sleep. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna go sleep. No, you need to go get some, like, you need to hurry up. Like, I already have it set up. Just go across to the other apartment complex and get it. And I was like, okay. So I was like, you got to come with me because I don't want to go over there by myself. So I go to walk out down the stairs to the bottom part of the complex, and he's trying to walk out the other stairs, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, it's easier to walk this way. And I was like, whatever, fuck him. Like, I'll just go get it. So I walk down these stairs and go out the back door, and all of a sudden I hear a door shut behind me. I turn around, it's cops. And get down on the ground. Like, they were freaking out at me, obviously, because, like, I have
serious charges.
Yep. And so I get down on the ground. They pick me up, and all I can hear them say is, told you we could get her if we just set up a deal. So I got set up, and they're putting me in the back of the cop car, and I'm fighting them because in my head, they're trying to take me into the woods, but they're really just trying to put me in the back of the cop car. Mm-hmm. So I'm, like, freaking out, like, don't take me to the woods. Like, what the fuck are you doing? They're like, you need to calm the fuck down. Like, you're just going to jail.
You were, like, so gone.
I was so gone that I thought they were trying to, like, take me into the woods and off me. Because...
Instead of, okay.
Yeah, because the guy I was with, he was, like, schizophrenic, so he always would, like...
Have thoughts like that.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, I've seen them take people into the woods before. So at that point, like, I'm like, oh my God, are they going to take me into the woods?
Right.
And they didn't, obviously. They just put me in the back of the cop car and took me to jail. So they tell me, we'll drop all your charges here if you agree to get extradited to Indiana. I was like, all right, I already have to go there anyway, so I might as well get my charges dropped here to go over there.
Sure.
So I get extradited to Indiana, and they PR bonded me out of Indiana, so no bond. I didn't have to pay nothing. So I got right out.
Okay.
On these serious charges, and I just go right back to it.
Okay.
I would go back and forth between these two jails and get out no problem. They just let me out. I'd run back to Michigan.
Lucky you.
Yeah. They would send me to Indiana. They'd let me out there, and then I'd go back to Michigan. Like,
I don't know how. I was like, how does she keep getting out of this shit?
I'd never get out.
Yeah.
I never got an OR. I've always had a bond. I got one bond
At this point,
paid.
I'm like, how am I just getting out constantly?
But it was only making it 10 times worse because she was like, well, you know, I can get right out. You know,
Sure.
She had no worries.
I can just keep going.
Yeah, exactly.
No. So then I ended up having to get sentenced on these charges.
Yes.
And I go in, they're wanting me to take assault and battery with a deadly weapon. And I'm like, no. I won't ever be able to, like, get a good job with assault charge.
Yeah, you're not pleading out to that.
So I was like, I'll take the drug charge. And I was sentenced to, like...
We hired a very good attorney.
Yeah. Very good attorney.
It's very helpful.
Yes. So I ended up getting sentenced to, like, a year probation, and I had to do 90 days.
In the county?
Yeah.
And you got the drug charge? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah.
So I took the drug charge.
Worth it.
Was doing the 90 days, and so I did my time, and it was pretty easy in there because I had all this money stacked up. So I was like, Mom, throw $100 on my book every week, and I was
you could eat.
pretty set in there.
Yeah.
So it was going by pretty fast. I ended up getting to be like a trustee, and I got into a fight, so I got kicked off, and I got put on the lockdown unit.
What was the fight over?
It's calling me a snitch or something.
I'm always curious with the women. It's so different with the women than it is with the men.
It was, I'm a snitch because I'm only doing 3 months for all these serious charges. Okay. I'm like, that's because I took the drug charge.
Right.
Like, whatever. And it was my first time ever being in trouble, really. And so get kicked off of being a trustee, and I am on the lockdown unit. So for the last 2 months, I'm locked down for 23 hours a day.
Oh, you blew it.
I blew it. And I was, all I had to do was clean the jail at night. That's all I had to do. So it was
being
great.
a trustee is sweet.
And I was getting, every 40 hours I worked, I got a day off my sentence.
You get more food too, don't you?
Yeah. I'd get an extra tray.
Yep.
And, like, juice and stuff.
Yep.
And if I ever had to, like, clean up someone's puke or something, that's a hazardous pay. So a day off my sentence. So I was like, I'll clean up all the puke.
Wow.
Someone coming and puking up strawberry daiquiris, that's easy. Like, I was cleaning that up, no problem.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was great. But then I got kicked off, put on the lockdown unit, and I only got let out of my pod 1 hour a day to use the phone and take a shower. And that was pretty rough on me. I just read a lot.
Did you get the fresh air? No.
Nope.
Franklin County's the same way. It's it's 24/7 locked. It's
Oh.
not 23 in 1. It's
Oh.
one pod, 24 hours a day, one shower in the pod, 30 guys. You don't see rec.
Oh.
They just shove the trays in the door. So it's pretty fucking brutal.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
lockdown sucked.
Yeah.
And it was the COVID unit. So there was one point where there was nobody that came in and had to do like the 2 weeks of whatever it's
Quarantine.
called. Yeah, quarantine. And I was like, can you open up the doors since I'm like the only one in here? Like, I'm on a lockdown unit. They did it. 2 days later, someone came in, so I had to go back on lockdown. And I was like, oh. So then I'm writing on like the tablet to like get my good days back because I got my good days taken away for the fight. And I don't hear nothing. And one day they pop open my door and they're like, pack up. And this is like 3 weeks early from when I'm supposed to be out.
Okay.
And I'm like, awesome. I'm calling my mom. At this time, she's living in Florida, but she's on her way to move back up here. Because the deal was I was going to move down to Florida with her when I got out of jail, but then she decided to come back.
Gotcha.
So she's still like moving up here and I'm out. And I called the first person that would come get me. And they came and got me, and I was MIA for like 2 days. And my mom's like, you need to go to your brother's house till we get up there.
You relapsed?
No, not at that point I didn't.
Okay.
And so I go to my brother's house, and they're like helping her move up or whatever. And I'm there for maybe one night, and then I go back to the dude's house that I was with before I got locked up and started using again.
Relapsed.
Took off again, yeah.
What year is this? 21, 20, 21?
2020.
2020.
Still
2020.
2020? Okay.
Yeah. But I used a little bit, but didn't tell my mom. So like when she came back up, like I stayed in her camper with her for a couple weeks.
Okay.
We were building a house. We
Yeah,
weren't just
sorry,
living in a
yeah, yeah.
camper.
They were building a house, yeah.
Okay,
We weren't
gotcha.
living in a shed.
Wasn't a shed, just a shed, an RV situation.
Done it up shed.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Yeah, they were building a house, so we were in the camper or whatever, and
Okay.
then I ended up taking off again. And went back to that guy and instantly started buying 2 ounces every week.
As a mother, and it's funny because I lived the reverse. My mom, I got sober. My mom kept getting high. She died of an overdose. So I couldn't save her. So, like, for you, when was enough enough? Like, when were you going to separate yourself from... Because you're putting yourself through hell by, like, tracking her down and dealing with all her shit.
I lost myself and her addiction.
Yeah.
Like my addiction went 10 times stronger in her addiction, and I was drowning because I just wanted to save her. I would have done anything.
Yeah.
You know, like we would show up at trap houses. We're on high-speed chases, you know, like I didn't care. I was willing to do whatever it took. So when she's talking about us coming up here, moving into, you know, our camper, why our house is being built, at this point, I'm like, this is it.
She's done with me.
Like, this is the last opportunity I'm
Okay.
giving you. Like, I've given you so many opportunities and you're just not getting it.
Yeah, you hired an attorney, you bonded her out.
Yeah,
You've done a lot more than most parents would.
Yeah.
I think that's safe to say.
Yeah, I had. And at that point, I was like, this is it. You know, I'm not going backwards. And then she was only there for like maybe a week and she took off again. And I was devastated. I was just like, at this point, I'm like, she's going to die. You
So-
know, like she's not going to make it out of this.
So what's the turning point? What happens? What is the event that causes you?
So-
Ryan gets up. Yeah.
So my ex gets out of jail again. He was in and out so much. And at this point,
This is the Bonnie and Clyde
guy.
duo.
Yeah,
So
okay.
he gets
So
out.
he gets out.
Okay.
And he's showing up with where I'm staying with my new boyfriend. And he's like showing up, like being friends with his sister. Like, he is showing up just to get to me, like, oh, well, I'm where you're at.
Right.
And at this point, I'm selling constantly, and I always have 2 ounces of meth in a lockbox. So I call my boyfriend's sister, and I'm like, come pick me up from wherever I'm at, like I was selling some shit. And they come to pick me up, and as soon as like I go to get in the car, a cop rolls up on us. And they were looking for me. They knew what it was. they're like, well, what's in the lockbox? I was like, I'm not opening the lockbox for you. Like, it has my personal belongings in it. I'm not opening it. And I had a warrant out of another county for, like, it was a paraphernalia charge, like, just a ticket.
Yeah.
And they didn't want me on it. So the cop took the lockbox with him and left the scene. And they let me go because the jail didn't want me. So,
Is that legal, what he did?
I don't think so, but what was I supposed to do? You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
And so the cop that's still with me, I'm like, no, he needs to bring my lockbox back here. He has no warrant. Like, there's nothing. He can't just take it.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, well, let me see what I can do. They didn't come back with the lockbox.
Of course. Well, no.
No.
Of course not.
So at that point, I'm like, I'll just go buy some more. So I go buy 2 more. And I could buy a whole new lockbox. I'm like, whatever. They can just fucking have it. And at this point, I'm staying at a motel, and my mom knows what motel
Like
I'm
where
staying
you're
at,
at.
where I'm at, and
Yeah.
everything. Because I think at that point, she had control of some of my money, and I was like, "Will you pay for my week to stay here or whatever?" She's like, "All right, whatever. I'll pay for your week to stay so you have somewhere to stay." And at this point, I'm getting ready to leave to go make a drug deal, and I get pulled over again. And this time, it's a state cop, and I have another lockbox, and he's like, I already know what's in your lockbox. Like, just come on. Like, open the lockbox, and at this point, I have a warrant out of for that big charge
Yep.
for probation violation
Yep.
because I took off on probation.
Yep.
And at that point, I am injecting meth for like 2 months.
So you've crossed over to
I
the
crossed
needle.
over.
Were you
and-
one of the people that said, I'll never use a needle?
Oh, yeah. I was so against it,
I
but
was the
everybody
same
around
way.
me did it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I would never do that. And then I came to a point where I was like, I want to do it.
The first time you did it, did you do it yourself or did somebody do it
someone
for
did
you?
it for me. I could never do it myself, but at that point, my boyfriend's sister could hit anybody. So she could hit me anytime she wanted.
Gotcha.
So I was always try to stay around them because I couldn't do it myself. And it just got bad very fast. And then when I got pulled over, at that point, I was like, I'm caught up. Like, I have a warrant. Like,
You're screwed.
I was like, I opened the lockbox up right for him because at that time, my boyfriend even wrote our names on this lockbox. So they're like, well, whose lockbox is it? And I was like, it's mine. Like, I paid for the drugs. Like, it was all me. So I wasn't going to let him go down for it. And so I opened it up. He's like, we won't take you to jail on your charges in Indiana if you agree to talk to us. And I'm like, okay. Like, I'm not going to jail today if I agree to talk to you. I'm like, all right. So they let me leave the scene, but he made me leave my car because I had no insurance. I had no license. I had a stolen plate on the back that they took.
You weren't legal at all.
No
yeah.
legal. So I go back to pick up my car, and I get surrounded by the first cop that took my lockbox. And here comes the state boy pulling up. She's good to go. And he's trying to take me because he put out a warrant for those 2 ounces in that lockbox.
Mm-hmm.
And the state cop pulls up. She's allowed to go. Like, she's good. And cause
This is after you talked to him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, after I talked to
Yep.
him. And they're, like, digging through my car. I'm like, I don't have nothing. He just took it an hour ago. Like, sorry, bud.
Yeah, there's nothing left.
There's nothing left.
Yeah.
And so they let me go, and the cop that got me the first time was like, you better come talk to me because you got a warrant. And I was like, nah, I come and talk to you. Like, you're crazy. Why would I come talk to you? And come to find out, the state cop that wanted to talk to me, it was for the, like, Rhino Drug Enforcement Agency. So they're, like, wanting me to work for them, to, like, work off my charges.
Okay.
So I agreed to talk to
To
him.
like
and
become
then,
a CI.
yeah, that's exactly what they wanted me to do. And they're wanting me to, like, go buy, like, dime bags from all these people. And I'm like, I'm selling dime bags. Like, everybody knows I have 2 ounces on me at all time. Like, you're crazy, for one. And the ex-boyfriend, the Bonnie and Clyde guy, he calls me freaking out. Just got into a car accident, and this girl died in the car with him. And he's on probation, and he needs to get out of there. So I take off from the drug, like, I was supposed to go talk to the drug people that night. I never planned on going to talk to them. I knew I was going to take off and run from them because I'm not snitching
You're
on
not doing
nobody.
it, yeah.
And so I go and pick him up, and we took off to Indiana, and he's a wreck. Like, this girl just died in a car
Yeah,
accident.
where's the girl?
He left her at the scene.
Okay.
And
OD.
no, they were getting ran off the road by, I'm guessing, drug deal gone bad. I'm not exactly sure. He wouldn't even talk about it. They got ran off the road and they wrecked, and the girl died in the car.
Okay.
And he was freaked out because he's on probation on the run. So he's like, you need to come get me. So I go and get him, and we take off to Indiana. And I'm like, I got drugs and money up in Michigan. Like, I've just brought you down here for a ride. Because at this point, he played with me so much, I was like done with him, I felt like. But he was like, well, let's just get sober. And at that point, I'm using a needle. I'm like, I ain't getting sober.
Right.
Like, I'm going to get my drugs.
Sure.
So he's like messing with my car and stuff, doesn't want me to go. And I am get in the car, and I take off on the toll road back to Michigan. And my car battery is smoking. I'm like, what is going on? So I pull over to like a little right off the toll road. Sure. And I see someone get pulled over, and I was like, sitting in my car, like, I just gotta wait this out. So the cop ends up going back on the toll road. I wait like 5 minutes. I'm like, all right, I'm good to go. I get on the toll road. As soon as I get on the toll road, he pulls me over. I got warrants, like, out the ass. And I was like, look, I got warrants. Like, it is what it is. I already know you're gonna take me. He's like, all right, well, is there anything in the car? At that point, I didn't have anything on me, so I thought. So he pulls me out of the car. He's looking, and he finds, like, an eighth of weed or something. He's like, well, I hope you know that's a felony here. I was like, oh. And then he finds an empty baggie with residue. You know that's a felony too, right?
Oh.
I was like, for an empty baggie? He's like, yes, felony. And I was like, oh. And then I
Damn.
had a box of needles, like clean, and he's like, that's a felony too, I hope you know.
Wow.
So now I'm facing 3 felonies.
This is Indiana?
Yes.
Oh, damn.
So now I'm facing 3 felonies. I'm in Elkhart County. Never been there before. So I go to this massive jail. And I'm, like, freaked out because I'm used to my little small town jails.
Right.
So I'm freaked out, and I'm calling my mom, and she's like, I am not coming to get you. And I was like, please come get me. Like, I'm serious this time. I want to be sober. Like, at this point, it's, like, 2020.
2021.
No. This was right before I got sober. At this point,
Into
it's
2020?
2020.
Oh, yeah. 2022?
Are you sure? Right.
I think it was 2021.
Okay. Anyway, sorry.
Okay.
Anyway, at this point, like, I'm shooting up, like, I'm ready to be sober. And, like, being in that jail, like, it was massive. There was 10 girls in a little tiny room, and there was, like, 2 different levels. Like, it was set up like a prison. And I'm like, I need to get out of here. Like, all these girls are, like, most of them are waiting to go to prison.
Yep.
And they're all, like, thought I was like a informant, like, in there because I'm not from around there. They don't know me.
Yep.
So, like, they were not cool with me.
They wanted to check your paperwork. They wanted to see why you were there.
Yeah.
What's the deal? Yeah.
So at this point, I'm calling my mom repeatedly, please come get me. Nope, I'm not coming to get you. About 2 weeks into being there, I'm still blowing her phone up every day. Please come get me. Like, I'm ready to be sober. I'm going to prove it to you. And she's like, no. Well, I end up getting a stimulus check in the mail. So next time I call her, she's like, I'll let you use your money from the stimulus check to get you out, but I'm not signing your bond. I was like, okay, well, if you come pay it, they'll let me sign it. She drives all the way to Elkhart to come get me out, and they won't let me sign my own bond. She has to. She doesn't sign it. She goes right back to Michigan. And so at that point...
Good on you. Good on you.
For real, though.
Yeah.
So at that point, I'm like calling everybody I can think of. Like, I have money. Somebody just needs to come sign for me. I ended up finding some random guy that I used to hang out with or whatever, and he came and got me. But I have a hold on another county. So I'm just waiting to go to the next jail, and it took him 30 days to come get me.
Sounds about right.
Dead time just sitting there. I was so mad. I was calling her every day, like, you need to call them and tell them I'm ready. She's like, they're going to come whenever they want.
They don't give a shit.
They did not care.
I promise they don't care. I worked in corrections for a couple of years, and those phone calls don't normally do much of anything.
So they finally come and get me. I go to the other jail, and I had like a $250 bond there, and she's like, you still have money? Like, I'll come get you, but you need to be serious. And at this point, I'm like, I need to change my life or I'm going to die, because I was shooting up as much as people that were doing it for like years. Like, I knew it was out of control.
I mean, you're shooting meth.
Yes.
So, like, that alone
right there is like
not normal.
No.
At all.
No.
That's insane.
Yeah. And, so I get out, and on my way home, like, I'm applying for jobs. Because at this point, I used up all my money. hey, I ain't got no money. I ain't got nothing.
You got nothing left.
Nothing left at this point. And so I get out. I'm applying for jobs. On my way home, one calls me back, was like, you want to come in for an interview tomorrow? Fresh out of jail. I'm like, all right. So I go and I get the job. And then I'm calling around to courts, like, what fines do I need to pay to get my life back on track? And I call my hometown. They're like, you have a warrant, a felony warrant. So I was like, all right. So
For those 2 ounces.
for the 2 ounces the first time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right. I tell my work, I'm like, look, I'm going to go turn myself in on my day off. Like, I should be back to work the next time. And I go turn myself in.
They were cool with that?
Yeah.
That's good.
My boss was very, like.
Second chance
yes,
friendly.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good.
She had faith in me.
Yeah.
So I go and turn myself in, and my bond's $50,000 with 10%. And I'm like, I don't have $5,000.
5K, yeah.
Like, I ain't got no money now. I was loaded before, and I ain't got nothing now. And my mom's like, I don't know what you want me to do. Like, she's scared to bond me out. So I'm in front of the judge, and I'm like, look, I turned myself in sober. Like, I'm trying to get my life together. I need help. I have a job. Like, I'm supposed to work tomorrow. Like, I need to get out. And my lawyer was like defending me. She said, this is the first time I've ever seen justice look this good, because she's seen me in and out so many times. She was always my lawyer, and she never fought for me before. She was always trying to get me to have, like, the harshest punishment. And I was like, I will drug test you for, like, today. Like, I'm completely sober. I've been sober at that point maybe a month and a half, 2 months. But I was like, I will do whatever it takes. And they PR bonded me on a $50,000 bond again.
Wow.
And I went to work, and then I was looking at 10 years because it was my 4th drug charge.
Yeah, I had to say it had to be pretty high up there.
Yeah,
with
it was
all
my
those
4th
felonies.
drug charge. And there was a drug court program, and I was like, that's what I need. Like, it's a long program. Like, that's exactly what I need.
Structure.
Yes.
It's exactly what I did.
Yeah. And they did not want me. They thought that I would.
Well, you had violent charges. That's probably why.
Well, those ones were dropped. So it was all, like, drug charges. But,
Oh,
like,
really?
But they knew that she was selling to everybody. So
Right.
they were like, we're putting all the participants at risk because you've probably already sold to half of them. You know what I mean? And now, like, I'm going
I
to put
see.
you back in this situation
It could
and hope that
become
you're
a
not.
problem.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I had to, like, fight for it. And then there's a case manager that worked at the drug court, and she really fought for me because I went in and I was like, I'm serious. Like, if I screw up again, send me to prison if that's what you guys want to
Sure.
do. But give me one more chance, like, actually, like, drug classes, like, all that stuff. Because
Yeah,
I never had that before.
I want to do the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to do it all. And at that point, they're like, I don't know about it. And I went and got sentenced, and I was like, just please give me an opportunity. And at that point, my mom knew one of the judges, and she's like trying to, like, help me get in this program. My mom was, and, like, reaching out to, like, anybody that she could to try to get me in this program. And they ended up sentencing me to drug court, and I still had those other 2 ounces pending. And because I took drug court, they dropped them.
Yeah.
That would have been my 5th.
That's how that.
Yeah, thankfully.
That's the beauty of drug court is, like, from my experiences, they actually care.
Yeah.
And prison is like an absolute last resort for them. They want to see you get clean.
Yeah.
More than anything.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. And there's a ton of them here in Franklin County. There's, like, catch court for human trafficking.
Oh, wow.
Heart court, which is a drug court, misdemeanor. There's ties court, which is felony. There's rise court, which is, like, mental health and substance abuse, like dual diagnosis. So, like, there's tons of these specialty docket courts, and they save lives. I mean, it saved my life.
Yeah.
So that's, I'm glad you got into that program.
Mm-hmm.
How'd the program go?
I did everything and anything they asked me. I tried to be, like, the star. You know what I'm saying?
And
Like,
you got sober before her?
Only 7 months before she did.
But still, you had some time under your belt by the time she got sober.
Yes, and
So
I was trying to
you-
tell her, like, if I can do this, you definitely can. I know.
I was going to say,
you
you probably
know-
know some good ladies that are sober. You
Yeah.
probably,
And we were so toxic for each other in our addiction. Like, we would say the
100%.
worst things to
Yeah.
each other. So it was like, once I was sober and like she was coming to that side, like this whole other bond started where we were like inseparable. Like, we were best friends. We were there for each other. We were all we had, you know? I mean, we have a really good
Yeah.
family
Yeah.
support, like her brothers, my husband, but this just like, we came together so hard in this. We were like, nothing's going to stop us, you know?
That's rare too, by the way. Like, two people getting sober at the same
Yeah.
time, because you know you hear about the boyfriend girlfriend thing. Doesn't normally work out. Same thing with my mom. She passed, didn't work out.
Yeah.
Like, it just normally doesn't work out like that, and so it's amazing that it did for you too. That's super cool.
We're very, very blessed that
Yes.
that happened. I mean, that started off my career. I'm a recovery coach, and I just have this love for it now, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, it's my drive, and
Passion.
all my clients are my daughter, you know? Like, I want to help you, but I'm gonna be hard on you.
Yep.
I've been there, I've done it, you know?
Old school, yep.
And it's good because she comes and tells her story to them and gives them hope that, you know,
Like, I
we
was
can
down
come out of
Done.
this.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
can come out of it.
So, how was the drug court program, and what's life like today?
It was great. Everything went good. I was in drug court for a little over a year, so I was drug testing.
So you did well,
Yeah.
because it took me 3, and it was supposed to be a 1.5-year program, but I screwed up like a bunch of times.
I didn't screw up once.
Really,
At that point, I was just like,
you were done.
done. I finally hit a
The
turning point.
obsession had been removed
Yep.
completely.
And it was crazy because right before I went to jail, I was like, I need to go back so I can get a shot up. And then I went to jail, and I was just like, something switched in me, and I was
Yeah,
like, something's got to
I'm
give.
done.
And so I did the program in a little over a year, and it all went good. And then I ended up getting a promotion at my work to be an assistant manager. And then now today I am a manager of my own gas station, and I have a great car. And
No, it's so cool and so nice to hear those things, because when you're at your lowest, you don't think you're worth a shit, and you don't think anyone will ever hire you. You don't think you'll ever have a car. You don't think you'll ever have a place to live. Like, I mean, you are like the scum under someone's shoe. That's what you feel like. You
That's
don't even feel like a human.
That's
like-
exactly how I felt. I was like, how am I wanted to be in the medical field. That's out of the question. Drug charges for one. Like,
Yeah.
done for. Like, what are my options? And like, I don't plan on staying there forever, but it's good
No,
money.
but you're moving up.
Yeah, it's moving up.
Yeah,
It's giving
you're
me
building a resume. You're
Exactly.
You have a car. I'm sure you're working your credit. I mean, there's all these other
Yeah.
things that people don't realize they have to fix, along with pulling the drugs and alcohol out of the body. So
Oh yeah, there's a lot of work all the way around. Like, I had no credit, and then my credit was like 500, and now I'm finally getting it back up
Yeah.
there. And
it takes time.
oh yeah,
It takes time. Are you happy today?
oh, I'm so happy. Like,
Yeah.
I look back and I'm like, that's crazy that I was like that. Like, that doesn't even feel like it was me.
Are you happy?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're
Our whole
thrilled to
family-
see your daughter doing well.
We have 4 boys as well in our family, so like all of us are just so close knit now. You know, like we've just got this really tight bond, and I actually never thought that Justice and I would have that, and we've bonded even actually just through recovery so much.
Yeah, of
like, we
course.
can relate to each other on a lot of those levels, and our family is very strong right now.
Well, 2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
First one, you mentioned a car accident,
Mm-hmm.
and that there was a kid who got into a car accident with a female and she passed away. How much time is he doing now because of that incident?
It's like 12 to 16 years, but 6 of it was for the girl passing away and him leaving the scene, and the rest were like all these cars that he got caught up on.
So, it's
But-
all driven by addiction.
Oh yeah.
So 12 to 16 years of his
Yeah.
life gone
At 21 years.
21.
at 21 because of addiction.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it can happen in so many different
Oh, yeah.
ways, and that's just one of many many ways it can happen.
It's sad because you have these young kids that this is a culture shock for them to go into these prisons. You know,
Yeah.
they're literally just going to the county and that's nothing, and then they're going to prison. This is a whole different ball game.
You should see pictures of me as a kid and imagine how I felt when I got down to the county jail. I was like, holy shit, this is not Grandview anymore. This is not that nice suburban neighborhood that I know.
Right.
Yeah.
These people are fucked up.
Right.
Yeah, it was like alarming.
Very scary.
It is.
I can't imagine at 20 years old,
Yeah.
21, going to prison for that long and
No.
not even knowing where you fit in there,
Yeah, that's
let alone how you're going to feel when you leave.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot.
As soon as I heard prison time, I was like, I will do anything.
I'm done. Yep.
I will do anything. They're like 10 to 20 years, like 20 years max. Like that's what you can get. I'm like, for manufacturing and delivering meth charge.
They
Yep.
offered me. They said I could take probation.
Mm-hmm.
And she told me, she said, if you take probation, but you violate, I will send you to prison for the maximum amount of time that I can. And I went back in the holding cell and I said, yo, public defender, got a problem here. So can you help me? Can you give me some help? It's a drug problem. And then that's how I got to drug court. So that's how I worked my way around the 5-year prison sentence that I was looking at. And
Thank God.
thankfully so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said 2 questions. Second question. Any message to somebody who's still using, that you may know, may not know, a parent maybe who's got a child that's in active addiction or in rehab? What would you say to those people? And I guess those are 2 separate questions for 2 separate individuals, so I'll let you both.
Well, I work at, in inpatient rehab, and I see, families coming in there and struggling and watching their children, and I make connections with these people and hope that, they can figure it out. And sadly, there's really not an answer. It's something you have to find within yourself. And when you get to that turning point, I always say rock bottom has a basement. You never know when.
Trapdoor.
Yeah, absolutely. You never know when enough is enough. It's just based on per person.
My thing is just when you have to want it for yourself. Nobody can want it for you. And when you're finally ready, it's so worth it. Like, just to get any help that you can look
Yeah.
for it. Like, if I didn't have my mom, I would have went to a year program. That's what I was looking at before drug court. Just because you need the accountability and
The
that's
structure.
That's exactly what you need, especially when
And
you don't have it.
You need the suggestions from the people who've done it, because
Yeah.
my problem is always that Lewis thinks he knows best. And that's what always got me into trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So once I started to take suggestions from people who actually got sober and were in my shoes, lo and behold, things got better.
Yes. When we're in our addiction, nobody can tell us anything. We know it all.
Can't tell us shit.
No.
No,
You got to finally get to that point where you have to want it for yourself.
absolutely.
And then it all works out in the end.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming out.
Thank
I
you for having
appreciate
us.
you guys driving out here. It was a really unique, fantastic episode.
Thank you.
Having a mother-daughter duo. We've never done it before. Super cool. So thank you for your time.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
and
for
your,
having us.
and your story and your just raw honesty and truth, because that's what this is about, is just telling the truth.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
Agreed.
guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.